We have had more members join actually. We have Nicholas and Emma in. Okay, so you can start.
Thank you so much for this. A second. Okay. So how I want to do it, and Tony, and I know you sent me an update of what everything is that on your part you're trying to do as an investment club. What I would only request is give me a debrief of what the club has been doing. Where your money, I know you have over 170 million, and then I can pick it up from there.
Okay, thank you so much, Alex. So mainly our investment club, we are called Asset Legacy Investment Club. This is an investment club that was formed after members uh, agreeing to save. Initially, our goal was to invest probably in something that would be income generating, let's say real estate. Uh, However, due to the volatility of the sector and as well as um, unstable management of the investment club, we've had quite a number of challenges in regards to having an area where we can invest these funds. And as a matter of fact, our funds are still growing because 100% of the members, they are employed, and the payments are the, the payments are made on each paycheck that is made. So at the end of the day, right now we may be at 170, um, but maybe before 2 months or three, we could even be at 200, right? However, would like to have a proper direction for our investment club. As you may know, most investment clubs, yes, people do have visions to start investment clubs, gather resources. It's one thing to have the money, and also it's the other thing to have this money grow, right? So this is the main area that we're having a lot of challenges, right? And a number of times members have put forward um, different suggestions of where we can invest this money. And we're looking at areas that have low risk, that probably members can have a good return on their investment, because we believe that once we have a good direction as far as our investment is concerned, then these funds are well protected. Um, Probably there would even be minimal waste, um, minimal chances of losing what we've uh, taken a lot of time to uh, gather. So basically, that is about our investment club. And so, out of that curiosity of wanting to know and also to explore more investment opportunities, this is what is driving us to bring you forward so that members can learn more, so members can have a number of options on where our money can really grow.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Now, at least it gives me perspective of why it was started, and it helps me when I'm having a conversation with investment clubs, because people start for different reasons. But if it's to make money and they have money grow, then, and it doesn't take away, I know we're going to talk so much about treasury bonds. It does not necessarily take away the ambition to have real estate. I will say this. For people, many of us who are employed, who have a little bit of money, there's one thing we are sure of, that the more money someone has and willing to invest in real estate, the more they improve the margins they can make. So, for example, when you go to the market to buy a building, when you have 700 million, chances of you getting a building that can give you a return of 10% after management fees and everything every year are higher than when you go to the market when you have just 150 million or 200. So even if the goal for the club is one day to have a real estate, and you say one day would want to have a big, amazing apartment block in Chira or in Nansana or in all those developing locations, it still can be a goal. One of the things you just have to do as a group is set up targets where you have to be in a position to say that for 15, let's come up with the plans, 5 years, 10 years, and plus. So in these 5 years, you must be as aggressive as possible to put money where it's making as much money as possible. And in this case, are treasury bonds. No doubt whatsoever. Why? You are looking at getting 170 million, and if you put it in a very good bond, every 4.5 years, if this is an investment club, so it means even the profits, the coupons, you will reinvest them. Every 4.5 years to 5 years, you're going to be doubling your money. And this is what I mean. So you have 170 million right now, that even if for whatever reasons, you do not contribute a single coin, and you say, Alex, we are giving you 170 million here, deploy it in the best investment club. Deploy it in the best investment club possible that you can. I assure you, I will deploy it, and in 5 years, if I recompound it, it will have doubled the value. That's the power of the treasury bonds right now. Yet, that is not the same when it comes to certain other investments, especially where you are mostly hands-off. I'm not comparing treasury bonds with businesses. If there is a business person here, businesses, you have to be hands-on. It's a risk. You have to take a risk, you have to put in time. So in this phase, when you're still contributing money every single month from each member, and Tony, I'm assuming, let's say you are one of the leaders trying to drive this, you can say, let's set a target that in the next 5 years, we must hit 1 billion. Then you aggressively contribute exactly that amount of money every single year. It has nothing to do, it does not necessarily stop you from dreaming big. And you say, every single minute that I'm contributing, every single minute that we are making this kind of amount of money, if we hit this target, let's say if we hit 1 billion, then I can get that 1 billion and we go buy a building and restart the project. And taking what people call the diversification. But because that comes with you having set the target. I don't know if, Tony, that starts the conversation in a better way.
Yes.
Or anyone else. I'm addressing it, Tony, but I'm addressing everyone. So in case someone wants to say, oh, pause there, what do you mean by this? Please explain.
That's correct, Alex. Actually, I would be happy if this becomes more of a discussion, so that if any member has anything to say, then you can they can raise the issues. And then, Alex, also to take note is that when we started this investment club, we did not register, right? However much we are drawing this amount of money, we have it in a circle, right? And the circle just followed our bylaws, and they had an account open for us. But we've been trying to find the best way we can have it registered, so that in any case, if we are to go and invest in anything else, right, we are doing this as either an investment club, a company. So from your experience, this is something as well you're going to hint on, right? Probably it could help us.
Let me hit on that way at this point, right?
Yeah.
Because it's important for us to kind of understand how the structure should be and for you to make money out of it. If you are an investment club and you want to invest in treasury bonds as an investment club, right? Not necessarily as an individual. It's important for you to go and register as an investment club, not as a company. We have rules. We have an act that governs investment club. 1. 2, that allows you to easily open up an investment club account instead of you opening up any other account. Why? You take advantage of what the legal protections are out there for an investment club. 3, when you open up an investment club account, it means a bank account. You can now invest in treasury bonds as an investment club. Already by that time, you would have decided that these are our investment goals. That our investment goal is to grow people's capital they are giving us. So open up an investment club, register it, get a TIN number for the investment club, do business the right way. And when you enter into the treasury bond world, you start investing. That means the bond will come out in the name of the investment club. That protects the members in the short term, in the medium term, and in the long term. It can easily be accountable. If you want to operate as an investment club, not as a company, not as a circle, there are different legal and regulatory requirements that govern all these different entities. So you want to manage it that way. You want to register it the correct way and invest in the treasury bonds. So the fact that right now you must be thinking that let's start the journey of treasury bonds, you should have already taken the first step, the legal side of it, to register the company. That way, even when I'm coming as a member, I know I'm coming to a registered investment club. The money that is being invested is invested as an investment club, which is a separate legal entity from Kakande or from the administrators of the investment club. The money that comes in on accounts that are truly tracked. That long term, as you expand, investment clubs have the capacity to expand. As you expand to enter into real estate, to enter into other products, even business whatsoever, those businesses have roots into the investment club that at one point you might sit back and be like, maybe we need to turn the investment club into a company. And you fully transition the legality of everything and transition all the assets and all the liabilities. So the first step for the investment club would be to have it registered. Otherwise, you risk buying these long-term assets in what would be temporary avenues. Yet registration might take just a simple 2-3 minutes and you are good to go.
Thank you,
Back
Alex.
to you, Tony.
Yes, thank you for that. And I think members have well listened, and the committee should be able to take the required stand on this so that we can have this registered. And at the end of this meeting, we hope to give ourselves timeline so that we're able to achieve this. And then as we go back to the investment that we are looking at, especially the way you're going to take us through the treasury bonds and how they work, it is important to note that currently where our money is saved, we are making 13% interest. That
is 13% interest after the withholding tax?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is after the withholding tax. And so we are looking at this particular investment where our money is, this particular account where our money is, yes, compared to the market accounts where you have your account deposited, we are not doing so badly off, right? So
no,
yes, we'd like to factor in that as well so that we see comparable to treasury bond, right?
Yeah.
Would this make a wise investment for the team? So Alex,
okay.
The floor is yours. I'll be happy that you continue and take the member through this. Thank you.
When you have to look at investments, you have to assess them in their total entirety. That is very, very, very important. Let's talk about the circles where you have your money. If you give a circle 200 million today, or let's use 100 million for ease of computation, and they guarantee you a 13% after tax after the year, it means at the end of the year, you have made 13 million. But you have done one important thing is that you have left your money in this circle for a full year, right? Compare that to treasury bonds. Let's And because that's what we're trying to think through and say, okay, how do these different products perform? Right now, if you take 100 million into a treasury bond and you buy a long-term treasury bond, two things are going to happen. The first one is you're going to choose a bond which has the lowest tax and a higher return. It's either the 10-year bond, 15-year bond, or 20-year bond. But let's use the 10-year bond. The 10-year bond right now, it is trading at around 15.5%, which means the net return after tax is close to 14%. So the 100 million automatically guarantees you 1 million extra over and above the SACCO. Because for it, it's going to give you a 14% after tax return. It's the same 100 million, same 100 million. For you, I've gone to the SACCO route, me, I've gone to the treasury bond route. However, in the treasury bond, they're going to give you, the 10-year bond is going to pay you in July. So it's going to give you some 7 million in July. That means by July, now all of a sudden you can reinvest the 7 million for it to bring you some money. In a years later, the 7 million has brought me money. The compounding capacity that the treasury bond can allow you in these bi-monthly payments might outcompete the SACCO. However, the benefits of the SACCO, especially to individual people, is the access to good credit at a cheaper level than going through commercial banks. Now, you have to think about it from this angle. If it's to make money and you have a very good aggressive investment advisor, they will make you more money in the treasury bond than they can make you in the SACCO, than what the SACCO can make you. However, from an individual capacity, you have to think through it. But there is this benefit that I have by belonging to a SACCO to have access to cheap capital. The question is, if you are an investment club that belongs to a SACCO, is that something you take advantage of? Is it something that benefits the members as an added advantage? If you do not have answers for that, and your first question is, I want to go where I make more money right now, SACCO versus unit treasury bonds, you can buy a treasury bond right now at almost 17% yield that almost guarantees you a 15% return. You reinvest that money, you are looking at close to 20% in 4 or 5 years from now. Do the SACCOs, can they give you that? So that you have to assess it that way. But there is something you cannot take away from the SACCOs, especially people who belong to SACCOs, that they have access to cheap capital, access to cheap credit. That is the benefit that the SACCOs bring to the table, that you as a person, you have to think through, like, do I belong to the SACCO or should I move on? If I'm to belong to the SACCO, to what level of money should I put into the SACCO to get that a little bit of a less return, but also have an access to cheap capital versus me moving my money to where it's going to make a little bit more money? Back to you, Tony, and anyone else with a question.
Okay, thank you for that, Alex. Yes, I would agree with you that the question you've posed over to us on whether we are looking at having more capital from the SACCO, maybe the members are available to answer. But for now, I don't see us utilizing credit from the SACCO as members, because
do members belong to the SACCO individually, or you belong to the SACCO as an investment club?
So members belong to the SACCO individually, which means members have actually utilized the SACCO on an individual basis as well, probably to take credit, right? And we also belong to the SACCO as an investment club, because our account is basically held as an investment, right? As an investment club. So I see Evans has something to say. I will allow him to come in.
Okay. Good evening, guys. Good evening.
Mine is just a simple addition. I think there is Alex talked about utilizing credit. We had suggested that, but not from the SACCO bit, because SACCO, if you're subscribing to it as a group, I don't think there is a way they give you a loan based on that group investment. It's usually on the personal basis. We had suggested that as a group, we should do lending, small lending, but we've not done that. I don't know where the members are with that suggestion from when we started, but it hasn't moved on. Then my second question, I just had a question actually to Alex. You talked about having investment advisors who help us like invest. Where can we find those people? How much do they charge? Because if we are to explore and they're supposed to do the investment for us, how do we sort of get hold of them and how do we benefit from that particular service?
One important thing that we must appreciate, belonging to a SACCO as a member, that Alex, I belong to this particular SACCO, I have access to cheap capital. As an investment club, you might not have that, but I believe there should be a way where they can lend to an institution that is in its legal natural person is also part of the SACCO. But if you do not have the capacity to borrow from your SACCO as an investment club, and you want to start also lending, then you are entering into a different arena, if I'm to call it that way. At that point, it means now you're almost also about to become as a SACCO. Then you have to sit back and assess, if I'm entering into the money lending business, do I need to get registered? It's actually very, very important to start getting these things registered. And I will speak about this for a moment in what is happening. Look at where the trend is happening. URA is one of the most funded organizations in Uganda. They are planning to hire close to 1,200 people. It means they're going to come to try to collect tax. And one of the ways to make sure they are collecting taxes is to make sure they close as much loopholes as possible in these informal settings. So if you are trying to enter into the SACCO business, money lending business, get it registered, get your license. Even if you're lending it to yourself internally, it's okay. At the end of the day, you're going to lend to Alex at 1% per month. You lend it to so and so at 0.8% per month, of which at that level, their guarantee is their investment they have in the investment club, which is now creating an arm. What I would advise in that capacity for any investment club, like in this capacity, is to say, create an investment club and register it as a company. You need to start having a bigger view as compared to the apologies, someone muted me. I've been muted. I've been talking. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Oh my God. Kindly, guys, do not. I don't know if you're hearing any echo or something, but someone tried to mute me. Not so sure how it even happened. Okay. I don't know. Where did you lose me, Tony? Had you had me on the SACCO business? How I was assessing your SACCO status?
Yes, you are
Yes.
clear. You just went off for a few seconds. Yeah, you can continue.
Oh, perfect.
Yes, we've been following.
Okay. Guys, please do not mute me. I lose the okay, I don't know where I was now. Okay, I'm back. If your investment club has such ambitions, like it should have, to say we never know where you're going to be somewhere in 10 years. It's time to create what you would call, and this, I should have maybe changed a little bit more, but let's look at it this way. Create a company that is the investment club, go register it. The investment club can own different assets. One of them, it can own a company. So create a company that's going to be a fully dedicated SACCO to members or maybe even external members lending money. That's one arm of the business the investment club has invested in. I don't know if you are seeing where I'm going from. 2, create another company that is a real estate company. Buy real estate and land and properties, or in the future, in the name of a subsidiary of the investment club. Done. That way, your ambitions are not limited to what your vision is in the short term. Your ambition are limited to what it can be in the long term. And because now you are entering different arenas that require different requirements, that require different approvals and regulatory requirements, you create subsidiaries that do not impact the other avenues where you do not need anything. That way, even if where you separate, you try to separate some of these as much as possible to make sure when you need a certificate for your investment club, it's the investment club. When you start a school tomorrow, create a subsidiary for the school, let it hash it throughout that way. On the point where you have to sit back and come up with an investment policy, an investment guidelines, and aggressive investments, what investment clubs in Uganda need to start appreciating is there are people who are leery every single day. They think, eat, drink investments and thinking for how to do things. Look for people. I would easily say I'm available. When clubs want to have that, we can sit and have a conversation. But there are also a few other people who are trying to do this. Reach out to them and say, okay, if you are to advise us for a full year, this is the capital we have. How much are you going to charge us? Then you have to look and be like, okay, if you're going to do A, B, C, D, the net cost to the club in a full year is, let's say, 2 million. But the things I'm going to develop for you certain policies, I'm going to do you A, B, C, D, and I'm going to still make you close to 20 million. So there is a net benefit. And it's okay, but I'm going to also handhold you to move forward. If you know you are deploying money and someone is going to make you just 20 million and they want to take off 5 million, then it makes no sense. Alternatively, you don't need someone on a retainer. Investment clubs do not need people on the retainer. You just need to say, okay, every 6 months, we need to reassess. Alex, since we have started the journey, we shall give you the first time you are reassessing our portfolio, we are paying you just 600K, which is my standard price. Then every time you are to assess, you look at our books and guide us, it's a 250K. So out of every year, you have spent just $1 million of an investment advisor, but the value is bringing. Every year you reassess and say, did he bring value? Yes. Was it worth attending his conversation? Yes. Did we learn something? Yes. So did we pay the money and got the value for the money? Yes. As compared to people thinking they can do it for themselves. The same way when you are to go into the legal arena and you get a lawyer and pay him his 1 million and they do what they do best, or an engineer, whichever profession. I think investment clubs can embrace a little bit of that. It can enable them to make a little bit of more money or take advantage of what they do have. Back to you, Evans or Tony or anyone else.
Anyone else has a question? All needs to come in. I think China had something to say. Okay, Shruti.
Good evening, members.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alex, for the presentation. It has been very wonderful and informative. I look at 3 things from what you have said that maybe we can think about as members. I'm not going to deviate a lot from what you have said. First, there's a treasury bond. 2, what Evans was talking about, there's the lending to people, but majorly would be looking at lending to the members themselves. Maybe they can choose guarantors. Let's say if someone wanted to borrow, let's say 15 million, and they would have, let's say, like 3 people guaranteeing them from the same group itself. Because what we don't want is the money to just sit in one place and just keep saving. It's not different from having a current account or a savings account in the bank. And then
You're
also
right.
Investing in a financial advisor. So I would present those as the 3 options. The investment it is two. Now, I'd be thinking about two things: either invest in a treasury bond. If we are still skeptical about it, we start lending to people that we know within the group, and then also invest in a financial advisor as we grow our money, because we cannot keep the money. What I know where the challenge is coming from. It's from people looking at the money just growing in savings without it having any action. Because right now we are at 100 million, but people are like, instead of me saving a lot, I would invest it somewhere else where I would be getting money. So me, I would be thinking about those three options, of which the third option of a financial advisor, we can always have it every year. That one, I don't think it is optional, because it's a good investment. It's a worth investment. To have at least 600,000 every year, it is very fine right now, because right now we have money worth 100 million and above. So we can always look at what we have, because right now, so 100 million is, okay, I wouldn't say it's small money, but at least money worth investing in knowledge. I think that is what I wanted to say. But for right now, I would look at two options. Either we go for the treasury bond, or we lend to the people inside, because people inside also need money. And rather, instead of me going to SACCO just to borrow 10 million or 20 million, I can decide to borrow it from the investment club, and the interest would be at 1% per month, which would be way cheaper than what SACCO is giving us, or the bank. That's I'll submit.
Thank you so much. A little bit, let me explain about the treasury bond. Someone has texted me to kind of show a little bit of highlight. What you are seeing here is a projection of 150 million investment right now into a treasury bond. And I'm choosing the 15-year treasury bond because it's one of the best bonds right now on the market for two reasons. Its tax is 10%. Nice. Two, its coupon rate is 15.8%. So it means after tax and everything, you are getting a 14.2% return after tax. So if you have 150 million, you are saying, Alex, I want to invest in this, and you say, let's go get a very good deal for this type of bond. One, and you are willing to compound your money, what many people can, to say, I will invest this money and leave it in for at least to grow for the first 5-10 years. The first year, it's going to give you just 21 million. To so many people, they might say, that's a little money. It's 14.2%. When you have not done almost anything. All you did, you signed the paper and moved on to do whatever you are continuing to do. When you reinvest the 21 million again, the second year, you're going to get 24 million. The third year, when you reinvest the 24 million, now you have 3 bonds, you're going to get a total profit of 27 million. That is money coming to you. You started with 100 million, you have not 150 million, you have not added in a single coin whatsoever. By the 5th year, as you can see, you are almost at 291, almost doubling the money. And in 10 years, actually 11 years, you are almost at 700 million. So if you give me 150 million, and you tell me what's the quickest way I'm going to reach 1 billion without ever adding in a single coin of that, I just have to extend this to 2040. You know, give me a second. Yeah, by 2040, you started from 150 million. Every single money that you are given, you are reinvesting it in another coupon. Even if you're just continuing to buy that exact coupon, that exact bond, you go to the bank and say, me, I'll just keep on buying this 2039 bond. And you keep compounding that money. In 15 years, by the time it's maturing, you'll walk away with your billion. Straightforward. Now, when you're the one planning for your company, for your investment club, you cannot ignore this. You cannot ignore this because the numbers speak for themselves. Now, imagine if you have to add on some more money every single month. There is so much money to make in the treasury bonds right now. If you are to wake up and say, okay, every single month, we want to add in an extra 1 million. Let me just start with that. Times 12, you know, every single year, and you do to add in a 12 million, you are looking to 1.6 billion, right? Increase that to close to 2 million, and you are hitting 1.7. Like, the more money you put in, the more profits you're going to make from that. So when you think about it that way, then you're like, okay, we cannot ignore treasury bonds anymore. Then what do? That we have some money. Let's put that money there. Whatever remains, let's replan it for it. And then that's when you say, like, okay, now this one was a conversation, a call to talk. Can we get him to develop us something where we sit down and say, and I come with you and say A, B, C, D. There is a gentleman here called Emmanuel. I don't know if it's my Emmanuel or a different Emmanuel, but if you are my Emmanuel, please at least say hi. For one reason, because I know why I'm saying this. There are so many things you can do with these investments and the plan that you have to come up with. At the end of the day, if you are the leader, that in 10 years, people look back and they say, yes, they have made value for us. Now that's a club I'm worth belonging to. Instead of a club that is going to sit back and like, yeah, we have made money, but they cannot even assess how much money they have made or how much money they have lost by not taking certain decisions. Back to you. I know someone had a question, a hand up.
Yes, Alex, thank you so much for that. Was it Ramra?
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Anthony. Maybe I missed it. Alex, can you kindly talk about the interest and after how long can you be getting interest out of a 10-year to 15 bond? Like which period? After what period?
When we talk about treasury bonds, there is one important thing which we must have to remember. We always say they pay interest every single 6 months, on average, typically every 6 months, which means when they are issued, Bank of Uganda states clearly that on this particular day, we shall pay coupon. What that means is that money is paid to your bank account. To you, it comes to you. The question is, what do you use it for? That depends on your goals, which can be different for different people, for different entities. So for example, right now, if you buy a 15-year bond or a 10-year bond or a 20-year bond, all of them are paying in July, which is literally 3 months from now. And the question is about, apologies, someone asks, but you said it's 6 months, but they're going to pay us in 3 months. Yes, because the bond you're about to buy last paid in Jan, it has been there. So you're not buying a new bond. That's why you're buying it at this point in time, which is critical, and it will pay you in 3 months. Now, in 3 months, you have invested in 100 million. They give you some 7 million. The question is, what are your goals? If your goal is that I want to make more money in the next 10 years, you're going to get that 7 million and buy another bond. You're not going to eat it. That's what you're triggering the compounding power. Otherwise, someone else will be like, I invested in this bond, and this is at individual level. I invested in this bond to pay school fees. When they give you the 7 million, you use it and pay school fees. So every time they give you the money, you take it out. To an investment club, your goals is to make as much money as possible over a period of time. So that means every single time they give you a bond, they give you a coupon, it comes on your account. You're going to use that money to invest in a treasury bond. Use that money, invest in a treasury bond. Maybe you have put a caveat that as a club, you will start paying dividends after 5 years. It means for the 1 year to 5 years, you're going to be getting your coupons and buying treasury bonds like as if you don't know anything. After the 5th year, you say, we have a policy to pay dividend to members. Members must enjoy their money. This is their money, right? And they have to have an incentive to belong. Sometimes also investing for just investing without eating it is also not right. Good. So after the 50th year as a club, you come up with a policy. Then you say that every income we make, every profit we make, we shall pay 50% back to the members. That means in the 50th year, when the coupon starts to come in, then you have to assess that this coupon is to reinvest. This one we pay dividend. This one reinvest and pay dividend, like that. But it all comes down to coming down, whether it's an individual level, Ramla, or whether it's at a group level as an investment club, to come up with your strategy and say, this is our investment strategy. We're going to follow it religiously, and you do it in such a way that it maximizes the return on your investment.
Thank you.
Okay, any other member? Okay, Emmanuel is here. Emma, you can come in.
Okay, good evening, members, and good evening, Alex.
Good evening, Emma.
Yes, I would like you to clarify on when you talk about reinvesting the interest. Is that not going to keep pushing ahead the maturity date of the bond?
When we talk about reinvesting the coupons, the interest, the profits, there are two ways, and it's one of those things which people are going to appreciate when they are to practice it and over time. You can reinvest in the same exact bond. You can go to the bank and say, I bought a bond that matures in 2035. That's the only bond I want. Or I bought a bond that matures in 2040. That's the only bond I want. So every time you are given a coupon, you go and tell them that's the bond I want. That way, all your money will mature in one single go. 1, 2, all your coupons will be paid in one single go. However, other people might be like, I'm okay to have what we call staggered payments. So every time you're given a coupon, you can buy a different bond that matures at a different point in time, that pays at a different point in time. There is no problem with that. So without sounding doubling it down, it also goes back to you sitting back and like, what do I want to do? Where do I maximize the money? Or where do I maximize the cash flows? Then you come up with something that serves you in that capacity. Back to you.
Okay,
Okay.
Thank you, Alex. Now, my other suggestion is, I wish you could also display to members the investment of that 170 million with the SACCO rate, which is 13%, and then that 15-year bond, so that members can appreciate. And I know there are some members who are not on, and when they come back, they would want to see the difference. Some may not actually do the computation themselves, and they will actually affect our decision. Because after this presentation, we want to sit back as a team, and then we decide on whether to push our money to the treasury bond or to leave it to SACCO. So kindly.
So what I will do, I will work it out and I send you the screenshot. I'll send them to Tony for him to share them out.
That's okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Emma. I see China has something to say. China, you can come in.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. To add more on what Emma had said, when Alex is doing the comparison between the T-bond, the treasury bonds, and the SACCO, he has to understand that the SACCO interest is paid on a monthly basis. Is computed and paid on the monthly basis, and it is computed basing on the outstanding balance, which I think is not, which might not be the case with the treasury bonds. Thank you.
Okay. Alex, I think you've taken note of that. And then
Yeah.
thank you, China, for that. Eric, in the comment section, he was saying, thank you for the presentation, Alex. What's your experience with the unit trust? Is it a viable option for investment clubs?
Investment unit trusts is like the circle. The only difference is this: for them, they want to lend it to you. The only difference is for them, they're going to give you what? 11.5%. And I know it's the best way to compete, to understand these three is the computation, I think, which I think the Chinaman, Mr. China talked about, is to understand. I know it's a question that they always say, oh no, but we are given credit monthly, but compounded at outstanding balance. We have worked it around. They are going to give you, at the end of the day, 11.5%. The unit trust. So that you start for $1 million and put it in the unit trust. The first $1 million is going to earn not 11%, and it's going to maybe earn 0.89. At the end of the day, by the end of the year, that 1 million would have earned 11.5%. So for the circle also, the question I will ask maybe, and that depends on the data someone presents, is to say, at the end of the 1 year, what is their average interest rate? That if you had started with 100 million, by the end of the full year, how much profits have you made? Then you get the annual interest rate. That's, we call it the average rate. Then you compare it with the fixed rate of the treasury bond and see where do you make the most money. Back to you.
Oh, China, thank you, Alex. I see, China, your hand is still up. Do you have something to say?
Anthony, no, I cleared, I stated what I wanted to state.
Okay. Now, members, Alex has given us a case scenario here, which I think is over to us now to carry the matter forward and decide which investment option is better for us. However, in all these investment options that have been presented, we realize that we have to actually invest a little bit for us to be able to gain more. That is having a good financial advisor, and as well as being able to facilitate, for example, be it a lawyer who can help us get our investment club fully registered. Now, Alex, the other question would be, I know you are available to guide us through and would like to engage you much more so that you're able to give us, share with us your investment knowledge. In that regard, we are looking as well at having our investment club fully registered, right? And as someone who has fully been supporting investment clubs, most likely you may have someone you could recommend who could as well assist with that. I know our team, all these members you see here, they are quite very busy, and it may be a little bit hard for each one of them maybe to devote a day or even a week following up on the registrations. But Alex, if you have someone whom you can recommend to us, that would be well appreciated. We would probably engage that person. And then the last thing probably you could hit on is, what would we require for us to invest in treasury bonds? What would be needed and what would be the process going forward? If, let's say today we decide that we are going to invest, how do we start? Because we don't know. Thank you so much.
The starting, that is the easiest, Anthony. You need a bank account. You need a bank account. I do not know whether the investment club has a bank account as an investment club, which will start with the registration. So when you register you be in a position to open up a company account as an investment club, which when that is done, then you can go to that bank and fill up a CSD form, choose which bond to buy. There you just say, Alex, we are ready, we have to buy. Can you help us look for the right bond? I help you to show you. I send you the numbers. You present them to the members. The members will choose which one. We can bring up different options. Then they can say, okay, I want A, I want B, or I want C. We want C, or we can spread it up. Then you go and take the forms to the bank, and that's it.
Hey.
So, but the most important one is, for as long as you have a bank account, then the rest is easy.
Okay, thank you so much, Alex. And I think for the members, now the ball is in our hands to drive this investment forward, because we have the information that we need, and at least we've had some light, which means that if we take time, probably even to research more and have timelines on which we can act, probably it's going to help us to be able to execute our investment. Any members with questions, please, you can raise them right now before Alex leaves. I know we only had 1 hour and he's almost exhausted, but probably we can allow 2-3 questions before Alex leaves. So members, if anybody has a question, let them raise it right now. Thank you. You can raise your hand, or you just come in and talk without having to raise your hand. Okay, if there are no any other questions, I would let Alex give his concluding remarks. And then for the other investment options that we are talking about, probably we shall have another meeting as a club and be able to discuss them internally. So Alex, you can give your concluding remarks.
Thanks so much, Tony, for having me. And members, I know we have talked so much from the investment club perspective. If people need this at a tailored individual level, my number is a public and available number that when you reach out, we can talk, but I'll drop it in here. The journey that you are starting on is there. Dream bigger. Do not be there like the other investment clubs that reach a level and they do not even know what is the next step they have to take because they didn't set up the right foundation. Sometimes to do that, you must be willing to kind of embrace the new normal. Like the question you have asked, can we get us someone to help us register? Investment club registration isn't even hard. The lawyer shouldn't even ask you so much, man. I'll send you the number, Tony, to that. Engage every single year. Sit down and someone like, what are we doing? Are we doing right? If they say that you're doing everything perfect, then that's also good. But they also should be in position to come and say, maybe think about it A, B, C, D. Evans talked about you doing a circle, and I'm like, register the company, register another company as owned by the investment club, put the investment amount in there, and I will come up with a structure. You come up with even a way you have to structure it, and you take advantage of that. There's so many things you can do that can have potential. If you have managed to collect 170 million, then you should be dreaming of having a 7 billion portfolio, maybe in 10, 15 years. And when you present a bigger dream, people will always walk your journey with you because they're like, oh, wait a minute. So this is a company that might potentially have this so much assets. I need to belong to that. I cannot move out. So it should be, for lack of better word, business unusual. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much, Alex, for your time, and for all the members who have sacrificed this evening to join the meeting. You are so much appreciated. And I think we are going to coordinate with the team on ground so that we can have another meeting. And then, Alex, we shall come for you. We shall need you more in this journey. We try to appreciate you. And when we call upon you, make sure at least always give us time. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll upload this on YouTube and make it private and then share it with maybe Tony in that regard.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you to Alex. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Michael, don't you have anything to say?
Are we done here? About to charge you.
We are done, guys. Thank you so much for
Wetuli osobola tuwayo kyotugamba sebo China.
Ndi mukitegedde ndowooza mukitegedde tulina okukwata nsonga tukwate miliyoni ezo 17 tuziteeke mu bondi kisiike tumanye tukwate miliyoni 10 anti si zonna kyo ekituufu obadde oliko meaninga sente
Please use English.
And I was thinking we can diversify. So okwata ekikumi ne tukiteekayo oba 15. The good thing is that we still save every month. So nomanya nti sente zigendayo. Naye nga tutaddeyo zonna tusooke tuteekeyo eziryo endala zibeere nga if we need maybe to lend to members, whatever the decisions we make, that we know eziriwo. Natugamba tuweeyo 15, at least we keep a 20 somewhere. So olwala zonna tuziweeyo. Jatuuka nga oyagala diversifying nga tewali.
So what I
No. Oh, Evans, Mira Bogambi, the one we are still saving. So the one that we shall be saving aside will go to these diversifications that the channels that you have come up with.
Me, what I wanted was actually that comparison China Jadayogerako. No comparison ya bond, ne ya sako. Ulabe, sake inachetuwa echiri, if the bond is giving us more well and good. Then we compare like the percentages. Something like that.
Nicolas, ya tufunyemu.
Nicolas, I know